I don't know who needs to hear this, but buying a big multi-crew ship doesn't mean that you can run a big multi-crew ship. Yeah, because this isn't going to upset anyone at all. Part of Star Citizen's appeal are these huge ships that can accommodate an entire org. Ships that are big enough to have their own medical facilities, armouries, supply base, even hangars and their own support craft. We've seen a few of them in the verse, even if only from the outside, and there's no denying just how cool they are. They're sold in limited numbers at different times throughout the year, but without the chance to get our hands on one before passing with a frankly eye-watering amount of money, this is going to raise its own problems. And these go far beyond just, do you have enough friends, although that's a good place to start. I just want to be clear, I'm not attacking anyone who owns one or saying that you shouldn't. I just wanted to draw on my experience as an ex-Royal Naval officer to cover a few things that even now are pretty obvious to me about just how it's going to be difficult to run one of these behemoths. The ships I'm talking about are ships like the Idris, Kraken, Javelin and Polaris, big combat-based ships with a worryingly high minimum crew requirement, according to the ship's matrix on the RSI website, link in the description. And whilst notoriously inaccurate, that matrix is the best indication we have so far of what CIG have planned for these capital ships. It's obvious that the minimum crew requirement will leave combat ships seriously underperforming. For example, the Hammerhead is listed as having a minimum crew requirement of 3. And if you just have a pilot and someone in every turret, that's 7 players. It also doesn't tell the whole story, especially with the Kraken. Its max crew is currently listed as 10, but CIG have acknowledged that doesn't account for all the crew space it has for the pilots for the ships it can carry. And let's face it, without pilots for those ships, the Kraken is just a motel with guns. If you have a ship in mind for this video and I don't really cover it, it's likely because the minimum crew seems far more reasonable than those really big ones. But if you're certain I've got it wrong, you can tell me in the comments, or we can chat about it. I stream right here on YouTube, 9 PM UK time every Sunday, and it would be good to see you there. So, players then. The Polaris 6 at max 14, the Idris at 28, and the Javelin at a staggering 65, which is larger than a lot of multiplayer game lobbies. I mean, even if you go for half that number, that's still a lot of people who need to be online at the same time to get any use from that really expensive ship. Meaning, these ships are likely to be used rarely outside of an org. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just willing to go on record as saying that that's not going to be the case for everyone who owns one of these ships. And the same old argument comes up here, that of NPC crew and computer blades. It has been stated repeatedly by CIG that we'll be able to hire NPC crew in the future, and then ship computers will be able to take AI blades that will be able to automate processes, like turning a manned turret into something controlled by your ship. And I'm really excited for these features, and I want them to be great. But there's so little detail right now about how they'll work, how many crew we'll be able to hire, or blades that we can fit, and the associated cost, that it seems like an act of sheer lunacy to make a $700 gamble if that's the only way you can reliably run one of these ships. These big ships will make an issue of time too. We have a community games night every Friday here on my Discord, and even when there's 5 or 6 of us, the time it takes to get everyone into the party, and then make sure the party markers are working correctly, and then getting to the same place, and then so-and-so needs to get food because they forgot it, and then, has anyone got any ammo because I forgot the stuff for mine? Star Citizen is slow to get going for small groups at the best of times. The idea of doing that with 14 people for a Polaris makes me want to slam my fingers in a door. There's also another issue at play here. You. And I don't mean that personally, so please don't take it that way. But coordinating a large group of players, each with their own kind of aspirations and tolerances and interests, is tiring and doesn't suit everybody's personality or skill set. It's going to be quite interesting to find out how many people out there constantly whinge about shit bosses or leaders that don't care, finding out that they are indeed a shit boss or a leader who doesn't care. In other words, if the idea of raid leading in WoW or coordinating an Arma 3 operation or fleet commanding in EVE seems like too much work and you just want to have fun, I'd be curious to know why you'd think running a capital ship in Star Citizen would be any different. I'm not calling you out, and there will be a lot of good answers to that question, but it is worth you being honest with yourself as to whether or not that sort of thing is really what you want to do. People play games for fun, and there's no shame in admitting that coordinating other people isn't your idea of fun. Communications are going to be key to this, and no, Discord won't cut it. Take the Polaris, for example, on an attack run. The turrets will need to coordinate their fire to take out high threats or larger targets, whilst the pilot and torpedo officer will need to coordinate to make sure they've got ordnance to launch at the right time, and the engineer will need to direct players to damage systems in order to keep the ship running effectively and stopping it from going boom. Good luck doing all that in the same voice channel. It wouldn't be unfair to be sitting where you are thinking, I just don't want that level of organisation in a game, especially bearing in mind your definition of fun. But if you come up against another Polaris and they're communicating very effectively, and you and your mates are all screaming each other in Discord with no one able to hear anything, guess who's winning that fight? Yeah, not you. This is an area of the game that I think CIG really need to give serious thought to, so that something intuitive and easy to use can be incorporated in time to really make use of these capital ships. And it's not the only area of the game where the uncertainty about how things are going to work leaves a serious question mark over whether a capital ship is right for you. The removal of bed logging, for now, raises an interesting question about how these big ships will affect you and when you log on and off, if and when that feature returns. Unless that you know you'll always be able to start and end at a station or always be operating one of these ships very close to a friendly station, being crew on one could mean that after you log off for the night, logging back in to get your Star Citizen fix could mean waking up at a station systems away from where that ship was. The next time you all play together, you'll need to catch them up. Or they'll need to come back and get you, or you'll need to only log in when that capital ship owner is also online, otherwise the ship's not there, and the game has no choice but to log you into a station. And these inconveniences to players and how they choose to play the game can make a massive difference as to whether or not people engage with a gameplay loop like that. I mean, I, for one, don't want to have to set a rota or a schedule for my free time as to when I'm able to play a game. And I have to balk at the cost of these ships. The cheapest of them is about $750, and once it's released in the near future, that's going to jump again. Compare that cost to the $90 Gladius, and time spent in capital ships, it seems, is very much likely to be dollars per hour rather than a fighter's hours per dollar. And don't get me started on a $3,000 Javelin. I really don't like talking money in games. For me, it's more about whether or not you can afford it, and this is why I refuse to do buyer's guides of any type. Generally, if, as far as I'm concerned, if you can afford it for your hobby, then that's the only consideration there is. I only mention it now because of the amount of money that we're talking for these specific ships is just, yeah. I mean, the rate at which these big ships sell out shows that there's a lot of enthusiasm for that sort of gameplay and a lot of love in the community for them. And I'm not trying to change that with this video. If all this does is change your thinking, if you own one of these ships and you end up keeping an eye on the changes and thinking about how that's going to affect cap ships and how you run one, so that you're prepared and not surprised when it comes to putting it into practice, then I'd be a happy guy. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.